inside for Elba. Elba will still get the score. Fiddler, his farewell. He tapped into a legend and probably rugby league immortality. That's not a try, that's a miracle.
G'day guys, welcome back to the Rugby League Guru podcast. We've got Team List Tuesday for round 3. It has just dropped and there's a little bit to get stuck into here. Some big things for Supercoach that we'll touch on. Obviously our Beers and Break-Evens coming your way tomorrow. We'll do a deeper dive as far as that stuff goes. But there is quite a bit to talk about. Kathmandu, welcoming you in.
Thank you very much.
Do your thing.
Let's kick off with Thursday, 8 p.m. Storm v Panthers. This one is at Amy Park in Melbourne.
What again, this one's going to be Storm v Panthers. Obviously a grand final replay from last year, potentially another grand final preview. The Melbourne Storm coming off a bye. The Panthers coming off probably the worst upset in club history. A very, very interesting matchup here. For the Melbourne Storm, Will Warbrick out of this one. Grant Anderson, he jumps onto the wing. And Nelson Asafa-Solomona, he makes his first appearance on the extended bench. I do believe he has a judiciary thing that he has to beat this week in order to be able to play from Queensland Cup, but we'll double check in with that during the week. But Nass on the extended as it stands right now. For the Panthers, obviously Dylan Edwards out injured. Dane Laurie jumps into the fullback role. Casey McLean, plenty of rumours around that he could be dropped, and I'd be watching these team lists as we get closer, but he has been named on the wing. I'd also be watching Jack Cole very closely. He has been named at 5'8", but you've got Schneider in jersey 14, and then you've also got Blaze Talangi in jersey 18, and you got Tom Jenkins in jersey 22 as well. We mentioned on Bloke the other day, Tommy Jenkins has been absolutely killing it in New South Wales Cup. I wouldn't be shocked at all to see him potentially coming onto the wing for Casey McLean, and I wouldn't be shocked to see Brad Schneider, who moved from playing right edge ball player in Cup last week to left edge. That was on Saturday. The Panthers game was on Friday night. I wouldn't be surprised at all, guys, if there's been a call sent down by Ivan Cleary to shake things up to see what it looks like. And Schneider and Jenkins, they were incredible the other day in New South Wales Cup. So one to keep an eye on there. It's a lot of change heading into a Melbourne Storm game, but it wouldn't overly shock me. All right, Friday night, Kat, what do we got?
Well, you said round 2 was bounce back week, and these two teams certainly bounced back from round 1. So we will see the Warriors host the Roosters at Go Media Stadium at home in Auckland. Friday, 6 p.m. it kicks off. But, I mean, tell us what to expect in this one.
Yeah, the Warriors there pretty much 1-17 off the back of last week. Jacob Laban, he's in jersey 18, which is good to see him back in the extended side. I know he's been going good in New South Wales Cup. Tamare Martin also in jersey 20 there at the moment. I think the Warriors, this team is pretty set in stone for the next few weeks, give or take a Laban off that win last week. The Roosters, really interesting. Obviously the biggest upset in recent history. Incredible stuff. My question is, did the Roosters get up for that one-off occasion and just get the wagons together, or are they going to be able to do it consistently? That's the big question for me. I'm not moving the needle on my Roosters predictions for the season just yet, but we'll see after this game over there. Lenu, he comes in at prop. Victor Radley named in jersey 13. Lindsay Collins comes off the bench. You've also got Foketi, who's been named on the bench. I believe he needs to go and see the judiciary, and if he's off, he'll play, but we will see. And Billy Smith also on the extended. He played left centre for the Roosters on the weekend in reserve grade. Went up against Blaze Talangi, and I thought gave him a little bit of a bath, to be honest with you. So Billy Smith on the extended. I think if the Roosters didn't win last week, maybe you could have seen changes to get him into the side, but very hard to change this Roosters team off the back of that last week. What's the late game, Kat? What do we got?
Late game Friday is another Queensland derby. We love to see it. The Broncos to host the Cowboys at Suncorp Stadium in Brisbane.
Yeah, the Broncos, they're essentially 1-17 for this clash. It is worth noting, though, Katoni Staggs has been named on the extended bench. If he was to return, it would see him return at right centre, which would potentially see Dean Mariner or Shibasaki drop out of the side. It looks to me like Shibasaki has won that left edge as it stands right now. Dean Mariner has been incredible at right centre, but I think Mariner would be the guy to fall out of that side if Staggs is available. For the Cowboys, massive changes up there. Robert Derby, he comes in on the wing. That's obviously been injury forced. Braden Burns out with another hamstring injury. We want to wish him all the very best. Jake Clifford's been named at 7. Melbourne, the rookie Tom Duffy has been dropped after 2 games. I think it's a very poor call from Todd Payten. Personally, I think it sends a really bad message, but each to their own. O'Donnell's still on the edge. Taumalolo has been named at prop. He's come from Queensland Cup to be named at prop. Nanai's on the bench as well, so he's come from reserve grade. So yeah, Jake Clifford at 7 is the big one there. Lawton and Duffy have been dropped from this side completely. If he doesn't get a response out of his Cowboys this week, I have serious concerns about Todd Payten and his side for the rest of the season. Saturday, Cat, what are we kicking off with?
Well, we're going to be in Shark Park. Sharks are set to host the Rabbitohs at 3 p.m. on Saturday, so they'll be kicking off Super Saturday. Another big game in store, and I'm sure Rabbitohs win. Hopefully, no, just kidding. I had to. We
will see. We will see. But the Sharkies, 1-17, the luxury they have in their squad at the moment is that this team just picks itself every single week. For the Rabbitohs, Jack Whiten returns at centre, a huge in, especially for this game. He'll be marking up against Jesse Ramian, so a big task for Jack Whiten. Myers moves to the wing. Tallis Duncan. I thought it was a hammy injury. Kat said it was a hip injury before. He's been named at 13, so we'll see how we go, whether he plays or not. I know that Lachlan Hubner's out for 2 weeks, so Duncan at 13, they'd be desperate to have him because if you take him out of that side, it does get a little bit murky for the South Sydney Rabbitohs. And Liam LeBlanc has been named on the bench as well, a kid that I really like. Worth noting, Ravalawa has been named on the extended bench. I'm not expecting him to come in this week off the back of a win, but I think he'll come into the side pretty soon. So an interesting watch there for South Sydney. 5:30, Kat, talk to me.
5:30, we will be at KO Stadium in Redcliffe. Dolphins set to host the West Tigers.
For the Dolphins, they have been named 1-17. I think you'll see a few changes to this side, though. I think there'll be a bit of mixing and matching within the 17, and there's 2 guys on the extended bench. Finay Fuiaki, I believe he will come back from his HIA, and Jack Bostock from his injury in the trial as well. If either of these 2 guys come in, it changes this team quite a bit. So I'd be watching this Dolphins team a little bit closer to kickoff, because if these 2 come in, there could be mass changes to this side, guys moving all over the place. For the West Tigers, 1-17, which is really good to see off the back of a win last week. Buller has been named at fullback. He's the big concern. I'm not convinced he's going to play this week just yet, but he has been named, so positive signs. If he was to pull out, Heath Mason would jump into the fullback role. For the West Tigers, 1-17 from last week. Buller's just the only watch there. Late game, Saturday night. Cat, man, do.
Yeah, well, the Titans to take on one of the most talked about teams at the moment, the Newcastle Knights, and they will be hosting them at Seabus Super Stadium in the Gold Coast, one of the fastest fields in the game.
We said last week that it was bounce back week. I think the Titans are in for a bounce back this week. They've made a few changes. AKP is out of this side. I'm not sure if that's injuries, not in the extended squad, so I would assume so. Tony Francis, a very talented young guy. He comes in on the wing, 1-17. Outside of that, for the Newcastle Knights, big changes. Leo Thompson and KPP out of the side. You've obviously got Brodie Jones. He starts in the front row. You've got Adam Elliott, who will move into jersey 13. He was really good last week. And replacing KPP is going to be Tyson Frizzell on the right edge. Thomas Cant comes onto the bench as well. So a lot of changes there for the Knights going up against that Titans big pack. KPP and Leo Thompson are 2 guys they will really miss, and I think they'll miss Frizzell through the middle as well. So I like the Titans for a little upset there, but we'll talk about it later in the week. Sunday afternoon footy, Cat, what do we got?
We have got another clash at CommBank Stadium. On a Sunday, it is the Eels hosting the Bulldogs. This one kicks off at 4:05.
For the Eels, one big change. Hawkins comes in at halfback. Volkman obviously dropped from this side, not in the 17 altogether. Not in the 25-man squad altogether. So Hawkins, he will start at halfback. I don't think Volkman's been fantastic, but I think I would have still rathered him at halfback. But we'll see how Hawkins goes coming over from the South Sydney Rabbitohs. Extended bench, you've got Ryan Madison, but the big one here and a huge in for the Eels if they can get him their hype man, Josh Addo-Carr, and funnily enough, up against the Canterbury Bulldogs in this game. I do hope he is available and ready to come into this side. That'll be a cracker. For the Doggies, obviously a few injuries. Viliami Kikau out along with Matty Burton. I think they've made the right decision here. Bailey Hayward at 5'8". I really like the kid. I said to Sowie the other day, I think he's going to turn into a 7 or a 6. He reckons hooker. I'm very keen to see Hayward go round in this jersey. Satilli has also been named on the edge to replace Viliami Kikau. Moran on the bench. Josh Curran moves into the front row rotation to start, and Harry Hayes coming off the bench as well. Last game of the week, Kat. What do we got?
Last game of the week, Sunday 6:15, your favourite time. This is the Manly Sea Eagles hosting the Raiders at 4 Pines Park, and I'm sure it will be a good game.
This will be a cracker. Even more so a cracker because of some of the big ins here. Turbo, obviously with a injury cloud around him at the moment, he has been named. Positive signs. Whether he plays or not, we will wait and see. That is going to cause an absolute head fuck for us Supercoach players out there. Can't wait to live that nightmare. Kohler comes back in at centre. Takiaho returns at prop. The extended bench, you've got Tommy Talau, who's been there the last 2 weeks, but more importantly, Nathan Brown. If he's fit and available, he comes straight into this side. I would argue the Raiders probably looking like the best pack in the competition at the moment. I think they need Nathan Brown in this game. For the Raiders, the wing conversation for the last few weeks, Tamale or Hopawate. Hopawate on the extended bench. Tamale has won that spot. Shout out to Supercoach players out there. Matty Nicholson, he stays on the edge after scoring 2 tries on his debut. Morgan Smithies in jersey 13. The Raiders have confirmed Zach Hosking will miss 4 to 6 weeks. Brutal for Hosking. It just keeps happening to him, unfortunately. Trey Mooney and Ata Mariota named on the bench for the Raiders. All right, guys, that is Team List Tuesday for round 3. Going to be an enormous week coming your way. We've got beers and break-evens coming your way tomorrow afternoon, Wednesday at 3 p.m. And then we've got Jamie Sauer joining us once again for the Take the 2 podcast. That will be 3 p.m. on Thursday, our preview, answering some of your questions and talking about the big topics in the game as it stands right now. We'll see you on one of those or both of those shows later this week.